Hi there, I'm Barbara Guterman, and I am a public speaker, and I can promise you can be a public speaker too. I wasn't always a public speaker. I was actually a young girl who was kind of thrust into the spotlight when I started my first company at the age of 23. And I was the only woman in the industry and often found myself in a room with much older men, of course. And I always had to find a way to get my point across and to tell my story. And who better to get your point across or to tell your story than you? In the beginning, I was absolutely terrified. And I know that many of you are as well. I mean, people say that public speaking is actually more terrifying than going to the dentist, but I can promise you that's not true. And all it takes is a little bit of practice. So what are some of the necessary ingredients to become a really powerful public speaker? And what makes an audience want to listen to you? Well, again, it goes back to telling your own story in your own words, in a way that will resonate with people, in a way that is powerful and impactful, and in a way that allows you to be yourself. I mean, let's face it, no one is better at talking about your company or telling your personal story than you. And often we fear public speaking because we might feel that there are others who are more knowledgeable about the subject matter than we are that we happen to be talking about. So I would suggest that if there's a topic that you are uncomfortable talking about, become a subject matter expert in that topic, because the more you know about the topic you're speaking about, the more comfortable that you will be. You also need to know who your audience is. Is it a group of young girls, teenage girls that I'm talking to, or a group of young entrepreneurs? Or is it a seasoned group of veteran entrepreneurs and successful businesswomen already? And no matter the audience, I could tailor the same speech to a different group depending on who is in that audience. It's really important to know who your audience is. And then when you do, you know your audience, you know your subject matter, you know your own story, and you have your own powerful voice. Be authentic in expressing your messaging. Connect with people in the audience. Let them know you understand. Take their feedback and feed off of it. And it becomes this collaborative dance when you're actually public speaking from the heart. And you will see that you'll be able to connect with people, and you'll see that your message is resonating. I have so many wonderful stories and so many funny stories about opportunities that I've had over the last 30 years to do public speaking. But some of my favorite speeches have been to college students at their graduations, to young entrepreneurs who are just starting out, to incubator programs and business accelerators, and to business women's groups. And my topics are just really fun. I talk about my own experience and about the qualities that allow me to be not only a good public speaker, but a good business person and a good human being. And they are my 3F philosophies, and that is being fearless, being focused, and being flexible. And I don't mean fearless like in the absence of fear. I mean being fearless in that, yes, it's terrifying, but you decide to take action in the face of fear anyway and just push through it. And that is really what is going to allow you to be successful, just pushing through the fear. When fear shows up in my body and you feel a little tense, I just translate that into the same physical emotions and call it excitement instead of fear. And that just allows me to push through that and move through it and move on and be powerful. The second idea I want to share with you is about being focused and having an extraordinary focus on what you're trying to accomplish. As we know, it's a very busy life we all have, and there are so many things that distract us. And so I want to share with you my belief that it's important to put first things first, second things never. And you will know what that first priority is at some point, almost at every point in time. If you have a deadline for a business deal or something going on with your business, but you have a sick family member, we know the first thing is taking care of family. And so when you are able to prioritize first things first, and you get that first thing done and off your plate, everything else rises and you're able to get the next thing done and the next thing done and the next thing done. And finally, I love talking about being flexible, because if COVID has taught us anything, we know that we all have to be flexible in this life, and that things aren't always going to look the way that we expect them to. And I mean that for our families, for our businesses, and in things that are going on in our day-to-day lives. And so I challenge you to be your very best self by being fearless, by being focused, and by being flexible. And I know that those qualities in business and in life and in public speaking will allow you to be powerful, to be engaging, and to be really extraordinary. So thank you for letting me share my tips with you about public speaking, and I can't wait to hear how you do.